Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. About the techniques of chanting. Counting japa. In the following passage from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada explains how he instructs his disciples. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we are teaching our followers to chant the Hare Krishna mantra continuously on beats. Even those who are not accustomed to this practice are advised to chant at least 16 rounds on their beats so that they may be trained. Otherwise, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended Trinadapi Shunichena Taroropi Saishnanamanina Manadena Kirtaniya Shadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige and ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Sada means always. Haridas Thakur says, Nirantara Nama Lao. Chant the Hare Krishna mantra without stopping. Chaitanya Charitamrita Antilila 3.137 purport. Srila Prabhupada explains that there are no limitations for the chanting of the holy name. Even when you are walking, you can softly chant Hare Krishna, or even when you are on the bus going to somewhere, you can also chant. When you are working with your hands, you can also chant, and when you are resting or going to take rest, you can also chant. Even in your toilet room, while taking bath, you can also chant. In this way, there is no limitation or restriction for chanting this holy name of God, Krishna, and his energy, Hara. In doing this business, there is no loss, but there is very great gain, which is transcendental realization later from 22,470. However, it is also recommended to chant a certain amount of rounds on beats, since this will help one's concentration greatly. In order to count the number of holy names properly, one can make one's own meditation string called Japamala. By stringing the beads best from tulasi or neem wood on a cotton thread and tying a knot between each of them. If one is more inclined to use a ready-made japamala, one can obtain one from the nearest temple. There are 108 beads plus one additional, slightly bigger one which marks the beginning and end of each round. It is called Krishna or Meru and should not be crossed over when counting the mantras. Rather, one reverses the direction of counting after having finished each round. On one side, between the eighth and the ninth bead, starting from the Meru bead, a short plaited thread should be fastened to mark the first eight beads. They represent the eight main gopis. After having strung the beads, one can perform mala samskara, a purifying ceremony by washing the japamala in Panchagavya. This is a mixture of five products from the cow, namely milk, yogurt, ghee, cow dung, and cow urine. Afterwards, the mala should be offered to the deities. Gaudiya Vaishnavas hold the mala between the thumb and middle finger of the right hand. One should avoid touching the string with the left hand or with the right index finger. The japamala in the right hand should be placed in the bead bag. One should prevent the mala from slipping off the fingers and falling down, which is mostly the consequence of inattention or sleepiness. On each bead, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is chanted completely, and then the fingers proceed to the next bead. In this way, one round consisting of 108 Mahamantras is completed. Devotees of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, initiated by bona fide spiritual master, have made the vow to chant at least 16 rounds daily on the Japamala. Since chanting of the holy names offers direct association of the Lord, one should wear a clean and suitable dress. One should carry a kanthimala around the neck and apply Vaishnava tilak on the body. The bead bag should be washed regularly. The japamala should always be treated respectfully and kept clean. The beads should not be touched with unclean hands, that is, with hands which have not been washed after eating or after going to the toilet. If the mala is accidentally not treated properly, it should be put respectfully to the forehead to ask for forgiveness. Bodily posture, place, and time. Srila Prabhupada diligently observed the posture of the devotees while they were chanting. On one occasion, when he was chanting japa with a group of devotees, he requested one of them to sit properly. We should sit with a straight back and crossed legs. It is also recommended to sit on an asana, a slightly elevated seat, but one should not lie down while chanting. We should chant in front of a deity of Krishna or Vishnu in a temple of the Lord, in front of the holy Tulasi plant or at a holy river like the Ganga. It is better to chant at a well illuminated place. The favorable time for chanting is the morning. If at that time some other work has to be urgently attended to, then one should start chanting immediately after having finished the work. Srila Prabhupada writes, chanting japa should be done early in the morning with full concentration, preferably during the Brahma Muhurta time. Concentrate fully on the sound vibration of the mantra, pronouncing each name distinctly, and gradually your speed in chanting will increase naturally. Do not worry so much about chanting fast. Most important is the hearing. Letter from 6172. So I'll stop here. We'll continue reading tomorrow. But today's reading is mostly about the different techniques of chanting, that how we have to chant on beads, because it helps to concentrate. Then Srila Prabhupada has prescribed minimum of 16 rounds of chanting, and we can go beyond that also. And then what is in what mode we have to chant, that is mentioned, that is from Siksashtakam Trinadapi Sunichena Taravasaisnamani Amanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. Like we have to chant in a humble state of mind, thinking like we are a straw on the ground, and then we have to be like tolerant like tree, and we should not expect any respect for ourselves, but we give all respect to others. And it is also mentioned that we have to, like Haridas Thakura, he says for Nirantara chanting, like without stopping, we have to chant Nirantara, because you see how it is mentioned. Chanting, it's like it's not prohibited at any place. We can like chant while walking, cooking, traveling, then in even like taking our, like even when we are in the toilet or bathroom, any situation we can chant. That's what Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Manmana Bhava Madhbhakto. Manmana Bhava means always think of me. Always think of me means like here also we see how in every situation we can chant. So there are few things mentioned about how about the beads, the Tulsi Mala, like the in the beads we have in our Japa Mala, we should have 108 beads, and there is one big bead which is known as Krishna or Meru, and it should not be crossed. And there should be a small thread after the eighth bead, like it's in between eighth and ninth bead. The first eight beads represent the eight main gopis. And it is mentioned like how before you choose your japamala, you strong the beads, then do mala samskara using the panchagavya, then offer the mala to the deities, then you can start chanting on those beads. And also mention like when, because the Krishna's holy name and Krishna are non-different from each other, and while chanting we have to be we should maintain cleanliness, should wear clean dress, then some clean cloth, and we have to put kantimala tilak, and how it is mentioned the bodily posture, like the back should be always straight, legs should be crossed, and whenever we chant, the place should be well illuminated, and the best time for chanting is the morning time. The Brahma Muhurta time is the best to chant, because we can focus more on chanting. And it's mentioned that how we have to sit in front of the deities or tulsi plant, or if possible near River Ganga, we can chant. And also mention that we should regularly wash our bead bag, and like if accident, it should not fall. The beads while chanting, it should not fall from our fingers. So it's inattentiveness. It happens because of inattentiveness or sleepiness, and it's mentioned like how Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they hold the beads between the thumb and middle finger. The index finger should not be touched, or we should not touch our beads the left hand. And also we should not touch our beads with like unclean hands, like after eating or after going to the toilet without washing our hands. We should not touch our bead bag, and we should always give full respect to our japa mala and our bead bag. And we should regularly clean, also wash our bead bag. If something happens, then accidentally, like sometimes our legs touch the bead bag, or somebody accidentally cross over it or touch with their foot, so we have to beg for forgiveness by touching it in our forehead or bead bag. And while chanting, our fingers and the japamala should be always inside the bead bag. Yeah, that's